As a brain doctor, I've spent over 20 years studying memory loss, dementia, and Alzheimer's, but nothing, and I mean nothing, shook me more than discovering this one silent habit. A daily routine so ordinary, so harmless, yet it can switch the brain into decay mode overnight. This isn't some rare gene. It's not old age. It's a ticking time bomb hiding in plain sight at your breakfast table in your recliner, maybe even your morning walk. If you're over 60, this could already be affecting you and you wouldn't even know. But here's the good news. The brain can fight back. There are 8 hidden saboteurs behind Alzheimer's, things we do every day without thinking, and we're counting them down now. If you're over 60 and still believe in healing, subscribe now. This might change your life or the life of someone you love. A groundbreaking study from the Lancet Neurology found that up to 40% of Alzheimer's cases may be preventable. That's not a theory, it's peer-reviewed science. Yet millions of seniors unknowingly trigger the very mechanisms that inflame and damage the brain every single day. Another study published in JAMA Neurology showed that lifestyle and daily habits can either accelerate or slow cognitive decline even more than genetics. Let that sink in. It's not just what runs in your family. It's what you do every day that decides your brain's future. And now, the countdown begins. 8 hidden threats, starting with the one most seniors think is helping them. 8. Morning news overload. Feeding the brain. Fear you wake up. The kettle's whistling. You sit down, turn on the news. And within seconds, your brain is soaking in chaos, crime, war, panic, markets crashing. This may seem like a harmless habit, but neuroscientists now know that chronic exposure to stress, especially first thing in the morning, triggers cortisol spikes that shrink the hippocampus, the very part of your brain responsible for memory. Dr. Robert Sapolsky from Stanford calls it toxic stress. And seniors, we're most vulnerable because aging brains can't filter stress like they used to, so the damage sticks. Over time, this leads to more than just anxiety. It triggers inflammation in the brain, weakens neural connections, and even blocks the formation of new memories. What to do instead? Replace your morning news with 10 minutes of classical music or gentle movement. Give your brain calm before chaos. Mistake to avoid. Don't just leave the TV on for company. Even background stress is still stress. 7. Artificial sweeteners. Sweet poison for memory diet soda. Sugar-free gum. That little pink packet in your coffee. Sounds safe, right? But artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose have been linked to memory loss and neurological decline. In fact, a 2022 study in Frontiers in Nutrition found that older adults who consumed artificial sweeteners regularly had higher rates of cognitive impairment, especially in verbal memory. Why? Because these chemicals disrupt the gut-brain axis, the powerful communication line between your belly and your brain. They alter the microbiome, increase brain inflammation, and confuse your body's insulin response. And when insulin can't do its job, the brain starves. Some researchers now refer to Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes. How to protect yourself? Switch to natural options like monk fruit or stevia sparingly. Or better yet, retrain your palate to enjoy less sweetness over time. Mistake to avoid. Don't assume sugar-free means safe. The label might say 0 calories, but your brain always pays the price. 6. Skipping breakfast. Starving the brain at dawn. You might think I'm not hungry in the morning, or skipping breakfast helps me lose weight. But here's the kicker: your brain needs fuel before it needs food. Overnight, your body's been fasting. When you wake, your glucose levels are low, and the brain runs almost entirely on glucose. A study from Harvard Medical School revealed that seniors who skipped breakfast regularly performed worse on memory and attention tasks and showed more signs of early cognitive decline. This isn't about pancakes and bacon. It's about brain fuel. What to do? Start with a small brain-boosting combo: half an avocado on whole grain toast, a boiled egg, or a handful of walnuts and blueberries. Even a spoon of almond butter can make a difference. Mistake to avoid: don't just grab coffee. Caffeine without nutrition spikes cortisol, confuses hunger signals, and drains the brain. 5. Sitting too long. The brain's silent chokehold. The average senior spends over 9 hours a day sitting. But did you know that prolonged sitting slows blood flow to the brain? A UCLA study used MRIs to scan older adults who sat more than 7 hours daily. The results: thinner brain structures, especially in the medial temporal lobe, critical for memory. It's not about exercise alone. It's about inactivity and how it starves the brain of oxygen and nutrients. How to break the pattern: set a timer every 30 minutes. Stand stretch walk for 2 minutes. Even gentle movement like shoulder rolls or walking in place wakes up your brain. Mistake to avoid: don't rely on one workout to cancel out 8 hours of sitting. Movement must be sprinkled through your day like water on a drying plant. If this speaks to your story, tell us in the comments below. Seniors around the world are listening, and sometimes your voice is the one that wakes up someone else. 4. Chronic dehydration, dry brain, foggy thoughts. You feel tired, distracted, maybe even dizzy. So you reach for another cup of tea or coffee. But the truth: your brain might be running on empty. Mild dehydration, just 2%, can impair short-term memory, concentration, and alertness, according to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition. And seniors are especially at risk because as we age, our thirst signal weakens. That means your brain can be dehydrated without you even feeling thirsty. Brain cells are like little sponges. When they dry out, they shrink, and their ability to communicate weakens, leading to confusion, memory slips, and even increased risk of dementia symptoms. How to stay sharp: drink a glass of water first thing in the morning before coffee. Add slices of cucumber, lemon, or mint if it helps. And aim for at least 6 to 8 cups a day, even if you don't feel thirsty. Mistake to avoid: don't rely on soda, tea, or coffee for hydration. They often act as diuretics, pulling more water out of you. 3. Multitasking, the illusion that dulls the mind. Ever walk into a room and forget why you went in? Or misplace your keys while making a phone call? That's not aging. That's brain overload. Multitasking, trying to do multiple things at once, forces the brain to switch rapidly between tasks. And studies from Stanford show that frequent multitaskers perform worse on memory tests, have reduced attention spans, and show less brain density in areas linked to empathy and control. Think of your brain like a flashlight. When focused, it's powerful. When scattered, it's weak. The fix: practice unitasking. Choose one task, one focus. Whether it's brushing your teeth, chopping vegetables, or reading the mail, do it fully. You'll sharpen your brain and calm your nervous system. Mistake to avoid: don't listen to news, answer texts, and cook dinner all at once. That productive feeling. It's actually brain fatigue in disguise. 2. Low quality sleep. The brain's trash collector shuts down. If you sleep less than 6 hours a night, this part is for you. When we sleep, the brain turns on a powerful system called the glymphatic system. It's like an overnight janitor sweeping away waste and toxins from the brain, including beta amyloid, the very protein that builds up in Alzheimer's. But here's the danger. When you cut your sleep short or wake up frequently, this cleansing cycle is disrupted. A study from Washington University School of Medicine found that just one night of poor sleep increased beta amyloid in the brain by 5 to 10%. Tips for better sleep. Avoid screens 90 minutes before bed. Keep your room cool and dark. Stick to a consistent schedule. And no caffeine after 2 p.m. Mistake to avoid. Don't assume that lying in bed equals rest. Your brain needs deep sleep, not just closed eyes. Yin. 1. Loneliness, the most dangerous habit of all. Now this one breaks my heart. Loneliness isn't just painful, it's deadly. Researchers at Brigham Young University found that chronic loneliness increases the risk of Alzheimer's by up to 64%. Why? Because the brain is wired for connection. Without meaningful relationships, our brain literally shrinks, stress, hormones rise, and memory functions fade. In fact, loneliness has been linked to greater risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and early death more than obesity or smoking. But here's the most important part. It's never too late to reconnect. Call an old friend. Join a local group. Wave at your neighbor. Even watching videos and leaving a comment here opens a door. Mistake to avoid. Don't isolate yourself because you don't want to be a burden. You are not a burden. You are a blessing. These 8 habits don't just shape your day. They shape your future, your clarity, your memories, your voice. And now that you see them, the real healing can begin. We've talked about sugar, about stress, about loneliness. But now, I want to flip your world upside down. Because the very thing most seniors are trying to do to stay sharp may actually be draining the brain faster than anything else. You ready for it? It's mental overexertion. Yes, those endless crossword puzzles, memory games, trivia apps. They may be doing more harm than good. Let me explain. We've been told for decades, use it or lose it. And that's true to a point. But your brain is not a muscle to work out with constant strain. It's a living, breathing network of cells, emotions, chemistry, and electricity. And like any living system, it needs rhythm, activity, and recovery, focus, and stillness. But what do most seniors do once they fear memory loss? They double down. They force the brain harder. More puzzles, more effort, more pressure. But science says that's the wrong kind of challenge. Cut to MRI scan animation, showing inflammation in brain regions during intense mental tasks. A study from the University of Toronto found that older adults who constantly pushed themselves to think harder without adequate rest showed higher stress hormone levels and slower recovery in prefrontal brain regions, the areas responsible for decision-making and memory. Even more concerning, overstimulated brains show reduced glymphatic function, meaning you're interrupting the brain's ability to cleanse and repair itself. And here's the kicker. That same study found that seniors who prioritized relaxation, social connection, and gentle stimulation like walking in nature, painting, listening to music, had better memory retention and slower cognitive decline than those who did memory drills every day. Let that sink in. The very effort to fight memory loss could be feeding it. You don't need more noise. You don't need to earn your brain's worth every day. You need peace. You need joy. You need deep, unforced presence. So, what should you do instead? Instead of another app, call a friend and reminisce. Instead of a crossword, listen to a song you loved at age 16 and let the memories flow. Instead of trivia quizzes, learn something new with your hands, gardening, cooking, even knitting. These aren't passive moments. They are neuro-nourishing experiences. They calm the amygdala, increase dopamine, and build neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire and grow. And maybe the most radical act of all, sit in silence. Let your brain breathe. Let your thoughts drift. Let healing happen without force, because the brain isn't a battlefield. It's a garden, and it blooms not through battle, but through balance. You've been told the brain breaks with age, that memory loss is inevitable, that confusion is just part of getting older. But I'm here to tell you that's a lie. Your brain is not broken. It is not too late. You are not too old to heal. Every small decision, every glass of water, every quiet walk, every deep breath is a message to your brain. We're still building. We're not done yet. Alzheimer's doesn't start in a day, but it can be fought every single day. And the most powerful weapon isn't fear. It's awareness. It's compassion. It's choosing better, not harder. So choose peace over panic, presence over pressure, connection over isolation. And if you believe deep down that healing has no age limit, subscribe, comment, share this with someone you love, because there's someone out there right now quietly scared they're losing their mind, and your share could be the hand that reaches them. Let's grow stronger, wiser, together.